Today is Saturday, September the 15th, 2018. In the background I got some opera on. It's not Grand Ole Opera, but it's real opera. And this is part of my channel for living socially secure. And I go down to the senior center, hang out with some swell folks. I'm the baby of the crowd, just 62 2 days ago. But Debbie, this very vivacious lady, we were chatting, we had lunch, and we also played bingo last week at the picnic at Teresa's house. And Debbie had a bag of chips with her when she walked in. I said, "You a chip freak too?" She said, "Yeah." Just nice people there. So next thing I know, we're talking about hot and spicy stuff, and she writes me a recipe. Now, when you get a recipe from a lady, you'd be a fool if you didn't at least try to cook it. So I don't have all the ingredients that she has on here. I don't have the Lipton onion tea soup. What I do have is spicy Szechuan chili garlic sauce, okay? So I reckon that I can tell her I had to substitute that. So I'm supposed to cut some wedges, sprinkle on the mix, a little bit of crystal hot sauce, because, oh, that's how we got into that. We started talking about this. And this stuff will put Frank's right out of business, Frank's hot sauce. And I gotta put a little hot water in there to dilute it down. And we'll sprinkle on pepper. We'll put it on this baking sheet. Non-stick, it's non-stick, and then it goes on, she says, 25 minutes at 40 degrees. So, you know, part of the cooking thing is, like in my case, it's a hobby and it's a way to save money. So there was no cost other than the gasoline to go to the center, okay? And the fellowship, friendship that you get when you hang out with people your age, that's invaluable when you're a senior. In all my videos that I do, you know, I strive for my professional level of food hospitality. So I'm getting everything ready. And there's a country song about life. You know, it changes all the time. And I had to change my lawn cutting vendor because since income is sparse in my trade right now, couldn't afford the guy's cut, and he was cutting it every week, regardless if Jesus came or not, and I just couldn't afford it. So I wasn't sure how I was going to deal with that, but I knew I could deal with it. I still got a lot of my cookies still left up here. So since this channel is Tom Z Cruise Joad, more will be explained later, under my Gmail called Poverty Knock on Gmail. Poverty knock is the noise that a sewing machine in the mills in the 1850s in England would make. And all of a sudden the machine would get too hot and this would pop up and hit somebody and knock them on the floor. And the worker would be down there, and they didn't really have any unions in 1850 in sewing mills. So years ago I heard this song, and it was just strictly a cappella, strictly poverty knock. Poverty knock. So it's not about knocking on being poverty, because, you know, Jesus was poor and he carried none of the money to heaven. So that's the name poverty knock at gmail.com I use. This is an example of community where this nice lady takes the time and writes me out the recipe. And so the part about cooking being a hobby is I'm anti-TV. I'm very few anti-anything, but TV I'm anti. So I've got on NPR radio playing this opera. This is some pound of espresso. I got 2 pounds of Sam's Club espresso. Awesome deal. See an ounce of espresso. I'll show you something else I do. I'm so cheap. Yesterday I made this coffee, okay, and I will not throw that away. I will pour more through there because it's espresso, so it's got a higher level of caffeine. did some walking today. I hurt my groin muscle a couple weeks ago, and the doctor said, "You're an old sport utility vehicle now, dude." He said, "Stay off the bike for a month." And my primary YouTube channel is One Bicycle Eddie. So now my heart is a little depressed. If it wasn't for the fact that I was singing in the choir in St. Joseph's every Thursday. Oh my God, the practice is an hour and 45 minutes of boot camp. There are people there who have been singing with that church for 50 years. So while I get a little depressed, I don't know where that fly come from, about not being able to ride a bike, I do work on that healthily by going out and socializing and using my music reading skills from when I was a youth. Lovely fly. Well, you're going to end up in here. Debbie said potato wedges, so that's kind of about as wedgy as I can get. And so if you're going to do a wedge, at least you can get two good wedges out of it from the side like that. So, you know, when you I go to this very nice place called Mechanicsburg Place, and it is a clubhouse for senior citizens. It's no AA clubhouse. This is for people who are sober and having fun and living life. 2 pool tables, lunch. It's not a homeless shelter. You don't walk up and get food. You have to reserve. You have to call every day before 10 o'clock for the next day. This is very middle class, and yet, you know, I talked to the director, you know, people are single, they're living alone, they're having a pension, or in my case, Social Security retirement. And that's hence the name of the channel, Living Socially Secure. You can live on Social Security. Somebody once said, well, it wasn't meant to be retirement, it was meant to help you. But that's before the powers that be gutted the retirement systems of America. And yeah, who among us wouldn't have loved to work 20, 30 years? But that ended 20 or 30 years ago. And after this, it's been, you know, cutthroat American business. Do what you can to survive. Re-educate yourself. Travel to the areas where the jobs are. Oh, there's an organ I got to think about. The choir director. Oh, it's so fascinating. So, I couldn't walk. I mean, I couldn't ride, so I went for a walk around the village that I live in. And I live in this awesome little place where you're required to keep your lawn cut and make everything nice. Now that's raw potatoes, and I'm going to run some hot water on there. Okay. I did scrub the dirt off the potatoes, but when you go using a wooden cutting board, you have to use caution. Okay. So I wash the potatoes before I cut them. I scrub them usually with these things. Wait till the water comes up. So I had to, I cleared the account with the landscaper, because you can't have a landscaper on Social Security unless you can be a real hustler. I'm a hustler. I was sitting here starting to cook, and I looked out the window, and all of a sudden, this young buck was running by, not a deer, young teenage guy coming running by, he's cutting right next to my trailer. I'm like, hey, did my landscaper not get the message? And then I realized, this is this kid that cuts next door to where I live. We spoke once before, and he's very polite, called him sir. I like that. I still call people sir and man. And you know, it's getting a little old now. I'm down at the club there, but to recap, Debbie gave me the recipe. Public music is on. There's no TV here. I was listening to public radio on another station that was arguing about our president, and oh, so we got a crazy, dangerous president. Good. That's what makes people scared of America. So to keep with what Debbie said, make sure this is good. I thought I'd flavor this a little. Okay. With some ham. So we're going to mince the ham up. And improvisation is one of my skills. So for the crumbly part, okay, that you want to put on these, this is essentially making a very healthy large French fry. So I'm going to mix some unleavened bread, matzah. And I can make all the jokes I want because I know my ethnic heritage. I got some Polish Hebraic in me. I'm your Northern European from the Caucasus, Cossacks and everybody came. Work over the sinks, you don't have to clean up as much. Okay? And so the music helps me, you know, as I narrate these, and I've got about 50 of them out there. But I haven't built out the channel. So building out the channel is this. When you do YouTube videos, that went on the floor. Oh, I got off track. So to try to save money, I had to end my relationship with my landscaper because I couldn't afford his rate, his procedure. He provided credit, but his work made your lawn look like a putting green, and that wasn't necessary here. So a couple months ago, as I get ready to assemble, I do most of my videos on Saturday for cooking. I can't do the bicycle videos because, like I said, I can't get on the bike right now. 62 years old, you have to follow the doctor's orders. So I see this young guy and he's cutting grass, and since I spoke to him before, I said, no, opportunity knocks. And I went out there, asked him what he charged, cut the lawn. 65% cheaper than the guy who was doing the lawn. The guy doing the lawn is a man in his late 50s, if not 60s, seems to be a retired military guy. Got a great business, nice guy, got to know everybody in town. But it got to the point where I couldn't afford it. Now here's this guy, if he did it on the same pace as the guy that I just said I don't want to do business with you anymore, I've cut my landscaping costs by 65%, as well as, it's the third week of September. This farm is only going to grow another 30, 40 more days, and then it goes into a dormant state here. Oh yeah, here's an old school way. I don't have a roller, my mama had a roller. Crack it with that roller if you misbehave. You know what the favorite line of my family and everybody else's family was in the 60s? Wait till your father gets home. So now, I felt like Dion in The Wanderer. Because I spent my afternoon talking to Debbie. Again, I had to play bingo with her. I kept that. Debbie, this one's for you. I had such a great time playing bingo. Who could know that you could play bingo and have fun? So, at the bingo table down at Teresa's Picnic for the Senior Citizen Center, there's two other people whose name I won't. A nice lady. I talked to her before. She's from Jersey, and the man that she's with. I'm only using Debbie's name because this is Debbie's recipe. But I'll stop using her name and just refer to her as a very nice lady. So, I was communicating with one of my sisters last night. I said I felt like Dion in The Wanderer, you know, these things about meeting all these girls. So, the lady who gave me the recipe here, she had to go off to Tai Chi class, and she left me on the pool table. And the lady from the Jersey Shore, she steps up, and never underestimate anybody. we start shooting pool, and she just starts slamming the balls around. I said to her, "Do you know what the Wonder Bar is?" She said, "Yeah." And that's a bar that Bruce Springsteen used to play at, and very famous. I haven't been there though. So, living socially secure is to recognize that everybody has a life history. And within a certain distance of privacy, they'll tell you, and the more you talk to them, the more you find out. When I stepped up towards the foyer, I was getting ready to leave. There was this elegantly dressed lady. And a lot of times, you know, it could have been for the sun protection. And she started talking to me, and I spent an hour talking to her. So in an hour, actually I got there at 10:30, and I left at 2:15. I had a very nice lunch. This lady that gave me the recipe. Shot a game of pool with her. I was giving her a little bit of pool lessons. And she went to Tai Chi, and then I got turned over to the friendly lady from Jersey Shore. And we talked a little. She could shoot some pool. I was learning from her. And then the third lady, who's a world traveler but also has roots here in the counties, the adjacent counties. And this beautiful lady that gave me the recipe, she's got a horse around here. You know, I mean, you hear about this. Oh, you got a horse, you're from the area. The other lady, she's talking about going all over Europe. And I'm like, you know, none of this is like meant for relationships other than friendship. I feel bad for the people who, live alone and can't get out, and getting out is a challenge for me. Financially, the gas. Getting out for me is an emotional challenge because I get tailgated because I do the speed limit. And I have to drive through a high density area get everywhere, and it's very scary. I've had 2 interactions that were not pleasant in the last month, but I will not break the law. I will not pass over a double line. I will not do the speed, go above the speed limit, because somebody in a big Ford 950 truck is late to get to their aluminum siding job, and I respect them. They all got these big trucks here in blue collar land. But there's a lot of rich houses here. On the street that I drive to go to the senior center, the church, the shop, it's a Maserati dealer, Alfa Romeo dealer, Lexus, a Cadillac, and a Mercedes Benz. Oh, Land Rover and Jaguar. So there's a lot of money here. But back up here in the hills, off the highway, these working class Joes, they call it the Votech neighborhood or something. I don't know what their problem is. But it's bullying, it's tailgating, it's coming right up on you. And there's one narrow lane out of here where I live, okay? One narrow lane. And they want you to go more than 30 miles an hour. Well, I did social change in the Houston area 30 years ago when I became a vocal proponent of the Rails to Trail in Plainfield Township, Northampton County. And the local dump owner owned a dump on one side of the trail. The trail was an old rail bed, and he owned the land on the other side, and he convinced by lawsuits the township to change the trail. And it took a trail that led into a town where a bunch of kids could have used that trail. And now that guy's still in the paper, still fighting over sludge, dumping it in the quarries. And I saw a beautiful way of life get ruined. Well, out here, this beautiful road, Burn Heisel Bridge Road, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, to cook, okay, I'm not going to let that happen. There's a whole lot of particulate matter. I think it's time for the lights. The sun's beyond the yard on. Yep, 3:56. Sun goes beyond the yard on Country Club Talk at 4 o'clock. So there's a whole lot of product on the edge of some of these jars, particularly this, and this is aged red cayenne peppers, distilled vinegar, and salt. I love my salt. What we do is just get a modicum of hot water in there. Now, what that does, and I did this with the Frank's hot sauce, is it takes the particulate off the wall. And sometimes I even like to get all that stuff there, but I'll save that, put that in an omelet. Now, let's see, getting back to the gentle lady's things here. Pour on melted butter. Okay, so, some butter. I think it's also time to preheat the oven. She said, because this is going to go in a non-stick pan. I'm making a larger amount than what she said, so I'm going to grease up that. I know it says non-stick. This is non-stick. It'll all fit there. But still, when you're cooking, you always have to prep. So, turn the oven on. It's going to go to bake. In about 30 seconds, it's going to tell me the temperature there is 100. Now, the food service rule that I have not been following is what we call hand to mouth, because what I've been doing is I've been drinking my espresso. And I like to show how I work when I do this, okay? And how economical and thrifty all this is. This is my army of Gatorade bottles that at one time had Gatorade in them. And then I realized I can't afford Gatorade. So instead of getting dehydrated, I just upped my water intake from about 2 gallons a day to almost always have 3 gallons of water a day. And when I go out, and this is 22 minutes into this video, so I get this in the oven soon. Okay, I didn't tell it to bake. Yeah, okay, it's set for 350. The instructions say 450. So that's a good way to change the structure of the potatoes. I originally thought I was going to use this, I'm not. Okay, push. There we go. Alright, I never quite figured out this oven. It comes from China. Wasn't everything yet. Well, I'm really looking forward to is I do have some other potato chips, but obviously this is going to be great. So now, what I'm doing is I'm kind of taking her recipe and mixing it up my way a little bit. Okay, I'm going to take the olives, okay, and dry sling them. And I'm a big believer in the standard cooking technique is that you should have a lot of pieces that are flavorful that are the same size but different flavors. So what you do is when you're cooking, the flavors of the different things. So in this case, it's going to be on the crust of these buffalo wedge, she calls them. Okay, so now she used to sprinkle on Lipton onion soup mix, and that's the thing I don't have. So now what I have to do is get some water going, butter in it. That's it. Sometimes thinking I got that one, get up, do that, okay? Now, some melted butter. Okay. I got 2 out. Okay. So the way I want to jury rig this situation is I'm going to put a little bit of this. Okay. Just a little bit of this chili mix. And on the journey of life, I talk about this on my food videos. I was a union food processor. Don't put that in your mouth, you learn. So as a union food processor, I ran a mixer. Okay. And I had a dry mixer, but I mixed in 50-pound cubes of shortening to coat. Okay, Dad, that's for you. That's going to be some spicy stuff. And we're not done yet. We did not even put it in the crystal yet. So watch this. That went up real fast. I'm going to take it off of there. You have to always be safe on an oven, and like I said, don't be drinking. Occasionally I'll have a half a beer, no beer a day. No beer a day before you go singing in the church choir. That's an intense situation. I love it. 50 to 70 people. Some of them have been there 50 years, okay? So, instead what I'm doing is, I've made a hot, kind of a dry rub, okay? It'll give it the buffalo flavor. Now, okay, once I put this in and stir it into the 53% vegetable shortening, that's when I'm going to add the liquid. And then I'm going to put the potatoes in, so I got a clear room for that. And then off over there. You got a really good book in the back I'm going to sit and read, but actually I can read something on the tablet up here. I can read about music. I don't like to go away from the oven because this is only going to be 25 minutes long. So my videos, I show that, you know, from cooking experience, you have to have everything in a line, okay? And a lot of people go, yeah, we know that. Well, there are people who don't. And if you scurry around with the olive juice, if you scurry around at the last minute, that's when you burn stuff. Like if I don't pay attention to this, okay? All right, the butter's all melted. Listen to this choir, that's what we sound like. I can't believe I sing in a choir, it sounds like this. Singing my way home is what I talk about. We don't sing like that, but there's guys in our choir who can. Okay, so throw in some more butter and get a little more vehicle on this. Because what we're doing is making large spicy French fries. Okay? Looking at this, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to drink any beer today because this is not going to mix well with beer. So living socially secure, I'm always monitoring my costs. Running hotels, I'm always monitoring my costs when I'm working. So I took potatoes I already had, I took ingredients I already had, make a food that I have never had. So that's growth, okay, based on social circumstances. I have to pay attention to this. Nice and greasy. And the background is a talking show of, I think they're in Nairobi or somewhere in Africa. Oh wow, everybody's in on this. My neighbor from across the street is, so maybe that lady's out of town. It's not my business, but the young guy from CV, he cut the lawn. I looked out my window. Here's another one of my neighbors. And he's using the windblower to get the stuff away from the base of that neighbor's home. All right, so Debbie, here's what I've done, okay? Turn that off. I've changed the recipe a little bit. And I've got this really nice bubbly, oily oleomargarine mix. Drop this camera. Okay, and now work to your tray. I used to run in the back when I was the last guy that touched the plate before the bride got it. Now, odds are this is going to be a little messy. I'm going to get close to there. Bring this here. What am I going to do with everything? All right, now. Okay. Okay. One oily greasy potato. Oven's 450. Good timing. I'm listening to somebody cooking. That's hilarious. As I'm cooking, I'm listening to somebody cooking. Life is synchronicity. Okay. Oh, I have to put a little pepper on this, she said. I think I got enough spice. Oh, this is Yiddish. I know. I worked in a culture factory. My sister used to live down in the building, the Lower East Side. So we'd walk, go up housing. And we'd go in the elevator. My sister said, Eddie, when they asked you to help them with the lights, they would push the elevator button because on Sabbath they couldn't touch electricity. And then I had a genetic workup done on myself. I found out that I have Polish Hebraic roots. And also, when you're Irish and you have freckles, it's been determined, according to my research, that you are 19% Moroccan and 6% Kenyan African. What? Yeah. Because Spanish Armada fought the English, okay? And Sir Francis Drake's ships were smaller, and a big storm came up. And the storm blew the Spanish Armada. They had large galleons because they had been crossing the Atlantic Ocean. Blew those ships out to the ocean to the coast of Ireland. And these big Spanish galleons wrecked on the coast of Ireland. And those who survived the wrecks climbed up on the beaches of Ireland. Some books about those islands too. The Dingle Islands, they're called. And so the survivors of the Spanish Armada set up camp in Ireland, on the coast of the southwest coast of Ireland. And they merged with the lassies of Ireland. Okay, now the employees of the Spanish Armada, let's call them that, were the petty officers were Moroccan. The officers of the Spanish Armada ships were Spanish, of course. Upper class Spanish, educated, they sailed around the world. So the petty officers were Moroccan, and down in the galleys below, there were African slaves. So these dark-skinned people from Morocco and Africa, a lot of you don't know this, but they merged with the lassies of Ireland, the Colleens and the Moreens, and the Terrors. And the, what's the other one I have a hard time saying? Shimans. I don't know about that. I don't say it real well. Okay, so I know from the genetic testing I had in 1985 that I'm a freckled Irish person. I have a sister and a brother who are dark Irish. They actually, we call us the black Irish. They tan. Guys, they got a little older than not as tan as they used to be. And being Irish, we're all prone to melanoma. But I started off talking about, being Hebraic. Well, that was determined by an illness that runs in Hebraic families. And one of my family members, rest his soul, he had that disease, so that's how we found it out. Okay, now this is going to be pretty interesting. Definitely is going to require a lot of water. No. Smiling Debbie when she gets back. Doesn't mind that I altered her recipe. And I'm ending up with a decent amount of like a base. So, alright, and this is going to be a two-parter, okay? So, Miss Debbie down from the place. This is what my version of it looks like. It's got a lot of lubricant on those potatoes, and you said, and we know it's now, it's a 38-minute video. About to put it in at 450 like you said, and then I'll do the other video and pull it out.